Welcome back, and joining us now on the show is Himanshu Agrawal. He's MD at Satyam Balajee. Himanshu, hi. And government, in its relentless effort to ensure that it's curbing inflation, has yet again come out with a new directive. This is on Friday evening, and this is about asking rice stakeholders to declare their stock positions by 9th of Feb. First of all, how do you read this one? You're on mute, Himanshu.
Oh, sorry. So hi. So this is another one of the steps taken by the government to curb the inflation, but I'm not really sure how much it is going to really help because the stock levels are also dependent on what kind of export book order every trader or exporter has, and as long as they don't start registering the contracts, it's very difficult to ask a trader to not stock to a certain level. And also, the inflation also marks down that they have procured more than 60 million tons of paddy all over the country in last 3 months. If they were to buy so aggressively, there of course would be a spike in prices. So this balance that they are unable to find between their procurement versus the inflation is something which is a concern and that they need to review internally. These measures, I am not too sure how helpful they would be. These are more to project things than to take action, because it has been there on wheat as well for almost a year, but it doesn't help.
Himanshu, a couple of things that the government has done until now. One is restricting exports. Second, as you said, much of the rice has been bought by the government. We do understand that 80 to 85% of all rice trade that happens in India or buying in India happens via the government itself. And now declaring stock limits. With all of these measures as well, the government is concerned with the 14 to 15% retail rise in rice prices that we have seen. Would these steps now curb it, or do you think this concern or this price rise holding?
So maybe it can help curbing the prices of the high-end and niche non-basmati rice, such as HMT, BPT, Java Fool, and these premium grades where there is some sort of branding involved. But when we talk about common variety of rice, which is largely cultivated and manufactured in India, I don't really see any price curbing happening on those fronts, especially in broken rice or in IR64, which is the commonly traded rice, because these are non-branded bulk commodities, and it is all mainly for the export purposes, which is already curbed by the government. So there's no reason for anyone to have any sort of massive stock position. There's no upward for any trader to do any such stocking. So I have really my doubt and my reluctancy that these measures would in turn into any sort of price changes, as long as they do not reconsider their steps of selling the rice in the open market through open tender without a reserve price. Even the Bharat rice, which is about to be launched later this week, who would be a buyer? I have my doubts, because as I said, 80% of the country has been fed by the free rice which has been given by the state and central government. So who exactly would be a buyer there? All the tenders that government has done on the sales side has more or less did not turn up as per their expectations. So I really would have my doubt that how exactly these initiatives will turn into curbing the prices.
Okay. Himanshu, another question really is, what are the rice export numbers as of now looking like as compared to the previous year? What numbers do you think you'll end the season with? That's one. And the second is, where do you see the rice prices moving from here on?
So rice export figures, from last year to 23 million of total exports, I think this year we should be down to about 12 to 13 million, given the limitations and restrictions that has been imposed by the Indian government. In terms of prices, I don't see a massive upward, because unless government changes their stand in export, so I would see the price to be more or less plateaued over here for the next few months. And so, of course, these initiatives that government has taken does kill the bull run and may see the prices being plateaued. So that's how I see in next 3 to 4 months. I am not a big in favor of the fact that prices are going to rally from here onwards.
All right. Himanshu, thank you as always for joining us and for that very honest opinion on what really is happening in the market. I mean, as you said, there's not so much of hoarding that the street has as of now. In any case, the government procurement has been quite strong this time around. And as compared to last year, we are pretty high on those numbers there. But let's watch out on what the government really sees on 9th of Feb. That is the time given to all the stakeholders to tell or mandatory tell their stocks on the government portals there. But with that, that's a wrap on Halftime Report. Stay tuned for Business Lunch coming up next.